All right, we're going live. Hey, this is Ancy coming at you. Really excited to share someone special with you and her story of being a very successful, we call it a book flipper. So, good morning to you, Christina.
Morning, Ann. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. I think it would be great to just start with always people get curious about the background of someone, what you did in a previous life before getting to book flipping using our program called the Book Flipping Profit System. So, where are you located, just which area of the country, and then what have you done as your background?
Okay, I'm currently in Orange County, California. So I'm not envious of anywhere else in terms of climate. Yeah, my background is I was a CPA by training, and then I subsequently became a finance manager after obtaining my business degree, my MBA. And so I was really a employee most of my working career. But it was when my kids came along that I wanted to make a change. I want to be with them as they grow up. And I know that time is fleeing really fast. So I started looking into a lot of different ways to give me the time flexibility and eventually building the financial stability that I need in order to have a balanced home life. I tried different things, and I had been on Ann's mailing list for a while. But when I received the email regarding book flipping, I thought that was very interesting. And I knew that e-commerce is really kind of like the future. And I knew I wanted to get in on it and learn about it. But what really intrigued me was the fact that it's relating to books. Like my husband said, I'm a total bookworm. I mean, I could be buried in books for hours and hours and not finding it.
You and me both.
Yeah. So it's to me it was like a best of combination of doing something that you enjoy and then at the same time giving time flexibility and then also creating an income. So I quickly signed up onto the initial program, which allows me to basically get some support, and I believe it's just the manual that I started with.
Mhm.
So I just go through the manual and started just scanning books that I have in the house.
This
Yeah,
manual.
there it is. I still have my copy actually on my shelf, and once in a while I just go back and just see if there's anything that else I need to refresh my learning. But I think this is what's amazing is after I scan a few books, my husband say, "Hey, you bought the program. I think it was like $250, I think at the time. Just send it
295.
in and see what happens." I kind of sat on it for a little bit because there was that a little bit of a learning hurdle in terms of getting it listed on Amazon and then getting it packed the way it needs to be labeled and shipped. But I got over that, and I was just really surprised that I think within a week, my book sold. And it wasn't a big profit, but to see that you could generate income right away, it really built my confidence. So I just went out and I just started scanning and scanning and scanning. And I knew that learning curve it's a big hurdle for most people. So the quicker you get over that hurdle, the quicker you'll see results. So that's what I did a lot. I just start going out to different places to source books, and as I built the results, I found that there were other things that I needed help on. So when the workshop was offered, I knew that I had to jump on it because there were just questions that wouldn't be. It's almost like taking a basic course versus an advanced course. You maximize your learning curve up to that point. So I was so glad that I decided to jump on the workshop because being in a live event and being able to ask questions and interacting with the coaches, that really helped me move forward. And I'm a very systematic type of person. So I like to systematize things. So it minimized the amount of time I need to think about it.
Right.
So that I could just focus on the sourcing, which is really the crux of the business. So from there, I think, it became much more steady for me in terms of income. But then I was still learning in terms of the landscape of the book marketplace, so to speak, on Amazon, and starting to kind of see a trend. And I'm pretty much kind of doing this part-time because I have another private label business as well as direct sales business I wanted to build for long-term success. So this really allows me to do on a part-time basis, generate quick cash flow for me to support, that side of the business. And I think when I was informed about the EMP program, which is even a higher level, I jumped on it as well. And I just feel like this was such a progressive way for me to build side hustle, so to speak, like how you describe it. And I just feel so blessed and appreciative because now I have this piece of the business that it's almost, here's a good example. I travel sometimes, or when my father was sick, I was able to take off weeks, just go and take care of him and to see my sales continue. Although I wasn't shipping in book to continue to build the inventory. This is where it allows you to have that time flexibility to continue to build that cash flow. So I think does that kind of give a little bit of background? I hope that helps.
Definitely. And Brian Cummings, who is the creator of the book flipping profit system, he calls it dependable, reliable, and predictable system for generating a steady cash flow. Have you found that to be true for yourself?
100%, 120% true. Because I think when we build a business, oftentimes it's very hard to predict how you're going to do. Especially, when we're asked to forecast, see into the future and see how you're going to do. Oftentimes we're really off the mark because we don't have sort of a systematic or history actually, or systematic way of predicting that. I think the book flipping program, I think, and this is where I want to emphasize, for a lot of people, there's that awareness, just kind of like how I was aware that e-commerce is really the future. I mean, Amazon, at least in the US, is the biggest platform. I mean, if you want to learn about it, you need to get on it. And given that the economy is really like a gig economy nowadays, anybody could create a side hustle to make some money. But then having a systematic and predictable way of seeing your potential results is so important. And that's where I think the value of the book flipping program is, because after there is work and then there's experience that you need to build into the system, and then also understanding your local marketplace, because every region has different ways, different places that you could source. But after you build up a certain level of experience, I would say probably 6 months to a year, now you kind of start to see a trend. And then by doing that, I could reliably predict how much income I'm going to make based on my level of inventory. And then also how my cash flow will come in. And as you mentioned, the book business is really predicated on Amazon's textbook season, which is the August, September timeframe and the January to early February timeframe. So because I work this business on a part-time basis, I really kind of concentrate my sourcing right before, maybe a month to a month and a half, right before the season starts. And I don't slow down too much in between, but then it's more of, consistently building, the inventory. But the time right before the season is when I really ramp up. And as we know, Amazon, if you were to do it, fulfillment by Amazon, there is not just the commission that we have to pay Amazon to be listing in their marketplace, but we also are paying the shipping and packing, the storage fee, all of that. So if we include those into how we want to predict how we're going to do, is you want to minimize the amount of storage fee you have to pay. Before there was no long-term storage fee for books, and then there's long-term storage fee, every 6 months, and now it's every month. So your fixed cost is kind of increasing. So if I could minimize the amount of time I'm storing books at Amazon, and because it's a long tail business, as Brian had taught us, we have to be mindful of how long we want to keep the books there. So when I schedule out that way, it's very easy for me to predict, okay, how much capital I'm going to put in around this time frame and how much return I want to get back. And I want to turn that inventory as quickly as I can.
Right.
And allowing, maybe higher value books to sit a little bit longer because
Right.
I absorb the storage fee. So
Yeah.
it becomes very predictable. And that's what I love about it, because I know the effort I put in, this is how much I'm going to get back. On top of the fact that you could have pretty small capital to get started with books.
Yeah.
And you get extraordinary return on investment on your dollar. I mean, you could get books as cheap as 10 cents. I remember flipping one book that I bought from a library for 10 cents and I sold it for, I don't know, $40, $50 minimum, I thought.
Yeah.
I think it was, I mean, there were so many ROI that just shocked me in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then basically, I think book flipping is one of the best way to get started into e-commerce, get your foundational knowledge solid. And that's what EBS teaches us, is getting that solid foundation in terms of the business knowledge. Because in any business, I think the toughest part is the selling and the marketing. And if you spend a lot of time learning that, you're not generating the capital or the cash flow to sustain you. And I think a lot of business fail because of that. But what Amazon has given us, the business model, is that you could get started with small capital, see profit right away, and you build the confidence that, yes, this is a business that I can do. And then continue to build your knowledge in terms of selling and marketing, continue to expand your knowledge as an entrepreneur so that it becomes a more sustainable source of income for you.
Yeah, the two complement each other really well. Before, I'm going to ask you one more question, but before that, I just want to mention to everybody to go and register for our upcoming web class with Brian Cummings. He is the creator of the book flipping profit system, for whom we owe so much gratitude for him sharing what he developed from his own tens of thousands of hours of in the store scanning sessions to provide and complete this system for us. So you love the textbook season, and you had shared with us you had $10,000 in sales, and we know that the profits are much, much higher in the big book category. He deems it to be the most profitable category on Amazon, that being books. We're heading in at this time into January. So are you anticipating a nice bump in cash flow?
Yeah, I am. And I'm very excited. And I typically see sales start to increase right after Black Friday, because people do buy books to give as gifts during the holiday season. So I start to, there's usually a little bit of a slowdown, but then I see the ramp up is starting, which is exciting. And I typically actually do better in the January book season than August. I think it's just because, what the book flipping program, and I'm so grateful to Brian for having figured all of this out. And we just kind of follow the path that he's kind of like blazed for us. Is the fact that we source a lot of nonfiction books. So that's where really knowledge resides, because novels has a much shorter lifespan than nonfiction. And I think when January comes along, people start setting up New Year resolution, what they want to do for themselves. They want to improve their diet. They want to be, maybe spiritually more enlightened, or, just different ways to start off the year with a bang. So I see not just textbooks selling, but a lot of nonfiction categories that I sell also really increase a lot during that time period. So I'm very excited about January. I always love this January timeframe, and I continue to source and continue to ship the books in. Even like I'm ramping up, like probably starting like this week because I had traveled, but this week all the way during holiday time is when people are kind of just taking time off. This is when I say, okay, I have as any minute I have, I'm outsourcing. And I have my family helping me too now, because my girls are 11 and 13. And this is a great way to teach them about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
They learn a lot just from helping me. And this is where I've set up the standard operating procedure, SOP, as you have taught. And I just have the kids and my husband just kind of look at it. They follow the step, and they could take that, you know, side of the business for me, which is the listing, the cleaning, the prepping, the listing, packing, getting it out to Amazon warehouse to get it ready for the marketplace. And I just go out and source. So, I mean, I'm just very excited because, you know, there's this vibe in the air too for a new year, you know, another new beginning for everybody. And I see 2019 to be a great year. And I hope that, you know, anyone who's looking to create, you know, a side income, that is going to be a really good kind of hedge against whatever you're doing, whether it's a job, whether it is, you know, you're just a housewife looking to create an income, or you are looking to just have something else to add to your repertoire of multiple sources of income. This is a great way to get started. And I think I was just, you know, we had a dinner gathering yesterday, and I just recommended to my friend. I said, you know, they asked me, what program are you involved in? I said, you know, e-commerce business school, you know. I said, and, you know, the founder, she's awesome. All the coaches are awesome. The training is solid. And I think, you know, I don't just recommend things until I personally have experienced it, and that I feel that this is really, really solid for people to get on. And I hope that this interview will help people see that, you know, as long as, if you're willing, EBS meets you there.
That's
you
right.
know, just like anything, there's work, there's there's learning curve, but if you put in the effort here, that's more than halfway there. And EBS comes in on the other side and just say, hey, you know, we're going to support you in this great community. There's everybody trying to help each other. And I think that's the beauty of this community. The coaches and other fellow entrepreneurs, we're all on the same path. And everyone, and when we think our question is unique, it's really not unique, because everybody else has done it, which is what makes it really exciting, versus you, like, you know, coming up with a startup idea, right? And nobody's done it. So nobody can really give you the guidance other than their general business experience. But in this case, is solid, proven business model that if you follow the track, it's very hard to fail.
You are so right. And when people do, I'm thinking it's not the program, it's not the support, it's they fail to show up in their business. That's kind of the bottom line. So, well, thank you so much, Christina. I'm going to be excited to see your results. I know you're going to put up a nice big screenshot, and it's just fun to see success in our students. And I love that we can help support you in this way and into your bigger private label business as well, where we teach you sales and marketing and building sales funnels. So thank you. Have an awesome day. I really appreciate you, Christina.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my experience. And I hope it helped people see the potential for themselves.
Absolutely. And folks, don't forget to register. The link is below in this post or above wherever it landed. Go ahead and register for our upcoming web class, and we'll look forward to sharing this information with you. All right. Till then, bye-bye. Bye, Christina.
Thank you, Anne. Bye-bye.